Guy Montag is the protagonist of Fahrenheit 451, a dystopian novel written by Ray Bradbury and published in 1953. The novel depicts a future society where books are banned and firemen burn them. Montag begins as a loyal fireman who takes pride in destroying books. Over time, he transforms into a questioning individual who seeks knowledge and truth, ultimately rebelling against the oppressive system he once served. One character story. At the beginning of the novel, Guy Montag is presented as a content and obedient fireman. In this dystopian world, firemen no longer extinguish fires. Instead, they ignite them to burn illegal books. Montag initially takes pleasure in his work, describing the act of burning as exhilarating. His life, however, is emotionally hollow, reflected in his distant relationship with his wife, Mildred, who is absorbed in mindless entertainment. Montag's transformation begins when he meets his young neighbor, Clarice McClellan. Her curiosity, appreciation of nature, and probing questions, especially her simple inquiry, "Are you happy?" ignite doubt within Montag. This encounter marks the first crack in his unquestioning acceptance of societal norms. As Montag grows increasingly uneasy, he secretly begins collecting books despite the severe penalties. A pivotal moment occurs when he witnesses a woman choosing to be burned alive with her books rather than live without them. This act deeply shocks him and compels him to reconsider the value of literature and knowledge. Montag seeks guidance from Professor Faber, a former English professor who becomes his mentor. Faber helps Montag understand the deeper significance of books, not just their content, but their capacity to provoke thought, reflection, and meaningful human experience. Together, they devise a plan to subtly resist the anti-intellectual regime. Montag's internal conflict intensifies as he becomes increasingly alienated from his former life. His superior, Captain Beatty, represents the ideological force of the state and attempts to manipulate Montag into conformity. Eventually, Montag is forced to burn his own house after his secret is exposed. In a moment of desperation and defiance, he kills Beatty and flees the city. While on the run, Montag encounters a group of intellectual exiles led by Granger. These individuals preserve literature by memorizing books, ensuring their survival. Montag joins them, symbolizing his full transformation from destroyer of knowledge to its guardian. The novel concludes with Montag and the group preparing to rebuild society after a catastrophic war, carrying with them the hope of renewal through preserved knowledge. To role in the narrative. Guy Montag serves as the central lens through which the reader experiences the dystopian world. His role is primarily that of a dynamic protagonist whose internal transformation drives the narrative forward. Without his evolution, the story would lack emotional depth and moral progression. Montag functions as a bridge between ignorance and enlightenment. At the start, he embodies the values of a conformist society that suppresses critical thinking. As he changes, the reader is gradually introduced to the consequences of censorship and the importance of intellectual freedom. Additionally, Montag's interactions with other characters highlight contrasting perspectives. Clarice represents curiosity and individuality, Beatty embodies oppressive authority and intellectual cynicism, and Faber symbolizes wisdom and cautious resistance. Through these relationships, Montag's character development becomes more nuanced and meaningful. Ultimately, Montag's role is to illustrate the possibility of change. His journey reassures readers that even deeply conditioned individuals can awaken, question, and ultimately resist societal control. 3. Symbolic significance. Guy Montag symbolizes awakening and transformation. He represents the human capacity to question authority and seek truth, even in a heavily controlled environment. His journey from blind obedience to conscious rebellion reflects the struggle between ignorance and knowledge. Montag also symbolizes the destructive and constructive power of fire. Initially, fire is a tool of destruction in his hands, used to erase knowledge. By the end of the novel, however, fire becomes a symbol of warmth, survival, and renewal, as seen in the campfire of the exiled intellectuals. Montag's shifting relationship with fire mirrors his inner transformation. Ray Bradbury likely created Montag as a warning figure during a time of rising concerns about censorship, mass media, and conformity. In the context of the mid-20th century, including the era of McCarthyism, Montag embodies the dangers of passive acceptance and the importance of intellectual independence. Readers generally view Montag as a relatable and compelling character. His initial flaws make him human, while his gradual awakening inspires empathy and admiration. Many readers appreciate that his transformation is not immediate but filled with confusion, fear, and setbacks, making it more realistic. At the same time, some critics argue that Montag's change happens relatively quickly given the depth of his conditioning. Despite this, the majority opinion sees him as a powerful symbol of resistance and hope in oppressive systems. For conclusion, Guy Montag begins as a loyal fireman who unquestioningly serves a society that suppresses knowledge. His concise characterization lies in his transformation from a passive participant in censorship to an active seeker and preserver of truth. This evolution defines both his personal journey and the thematic core of the novel. Symbolically, Montag represents awakening, the pursuit of knowledge, and the dual nature of fire as both destructive and regenerative. His story illustrates that change is possible even in the most controlled environments, emphasizing the resilience of human curiosity and thought. From a reader's perspective, Montag is widely regarded as a relatable and inspiring figure. His struggles and eventual growth resonate with audiences, reinforcing the novel's enduring message about the importance of intellectual freedom and critical thinking.